Welcome back to the Gold IRA Blueprint podcast.
hmm
Today we're taking a deep dive into Beverly Hills Precious Metals Exchange,
Okay.
or BHPME, as I'm sure we'll end up calling them
That's right.
as we go through this. We're going to explore what they offer and whether they could be a good fit for you, especially if you're an American retiree
Right.
looking to diversify your portfolio with precious metals.
Yeah, makes sense.
And speaking of finding the right fit,
Uh-huh.
if you're looking for some extra guidance, we have a free checklist available at goldirablueprint.com/exclusive to help you choose the right Gold IRA company.
It's certainly a smart move to be exploring all your options as you approach retirement. What's fascinating about BHPME is that they go beyond just selling precious metals. They seem to understand that knowledge is key, especially when it comes to something as important as retirement planning.
Okay, let's unpack that a bit.
Yeah.
They're based in Beverly Hills, California, and specialize in gold IRAs. But what exactly does that mean for someone who's thinking about working with them?
Well, BHPME aims to help individuals diversify their portfolios using precious metals, all while ensuring everything stays compliant with IRS regulations. But what makes them interesting is their commitment to education. They offer personalized consultations, workshops, and even seminars on market dynamics.
So they're not just about making a sale,
Right.
they're investing in their clients' understanding of precious metals.
Exactly. They offer a range of precious metals: gold, silver, platinum, and palladium, each with its own history as an investment vehicle. Take gold, for example. Remember the 2008 financial crisis?
Oh, right.
While the stock market plummeted,
Yeah.
gold soared as investors sought a safe haven.
That's a great illustration of why gold is often seen as a hedge against economic uncertainty,
Yeah.
which I'm sure is top of mind for a lot of retirees right now.
And then you have silver, which plays a dual role as both an industrial metal, crucial in electronics and solar panels, and a precious metal. This can make it particularly interesting for those seeking to diversify their portfolio.
And it is worth mentioning that BHPME doesn't stop at the big four precious metals. They also offer something for those with a historical bent and an eye for potentially high returns: rare coins.
That's right. BHPME offers a curated selection of rare coins, from ancient currency to classic U.S. coins to unique specimens from around the world. They even have coins used in ancient Rome, some of which have seen remarkable appreciation in value over the years. But they also emphasize the importance of research and expert consultation, especially in this area, to assess the value and authenticity of these coins.
So it's about blending historical significance with potential financial gain, but always proceeding with informed caution. I imagine with rare coins especially, it's crucial to understand how to determine their value.
Absolutely. That's where BHPME's educational approach becomes particularly valuable. They equip their clients with the knowledge to make informed decisions, whether they're buying gold bullion, silver coins, or a rare Roman denarius.
Now let's talk about transparency. How does BHPME handle pricing when it comes to precious metals? After all, these are assets that can fluctuate in value.
Their pricing model is very transparent. They base their prices on current market rates, which, as you know, are influenced by a variety of factors, from global supply and demand to economic conditions and even geopolitical events. They even break down these factors in their educational materials.
So it's not just a set price. It's a dynamic market that they help their clients understand.
Exactly.
What about fees? Are there costs involved in buying and selling precious metals through BHPME?
Like any financial service, there are fees involved, and they can vary depending on the types of transactions you make. The key here is that BHPME is upfront about these fees and explains them clearly to their clients.
That level of transparency is definitely important, especially for someone who might be new to the world of precious metals investing. Now, let's say someone decides they want to sell some of their precious metal assets. How does BHPME handle that process?
They offer assistance in evaluating the current market conditions, and will even appraise your assets to ensure you get competitive rates. For example, if you're looking to sell a rare coin, they'll take into account its condition, rarity, and historical significance in their appraisal, just as a specialized auction house would.
So they're really guiding you through every step of the process, both when you're buying and selling.
Yes.
But what about the investment strategies themselves? How does BHPME approach that aspect?
One of the things that distinguishes BHPME is their focus on crafting investment strategies aimed at balancing risk and reward, which is particularly crucial for retirees who are looking for both growth and stability. They tailor plans to match your individual goals, risk tolerance, and time horizon.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. They're really customizing strategies to meet the unique needs of each client. For our listeners, if you're ready to see if precious metals are right for your portfolio, we've got a free checklist available for you at goldirablueprint.com/exclusive to help you choose the right gold IRA company.
Hmm.
Now, what about the people behind BHPME? What's their background and what makes them stand out in the precious metals market?
The founders, Andrew Sorkini and Ryan Paulson, have a combined experience of over 40 years in investment banking and commodities trading.
Wow.
That experience has given them deep insights into how markets work and allows them to offer a level of expertise that's hard to find elsewhere.
So they're not just jumping on the precious metals bandwagon, they bring a wealth of knowledge and experience to the table. And their reputation seems to reflect that. I know they've received positive reviews from clients on platforms like TrustLink.
That's right. And it's not just their experience that sets them apart. They also offer unique products and services you won't find everywhere. We've talked about rare coins, but they also have custom investment packages and even limited edition collectibles, offering their clients a diversified approach to building a precious metals portfolio.
It sounds like they cater to a discerning clientele, those who are looking for something beyond the standard offerings. And from what I've read, their customer service is highly personalized. What does that look like in practice?
You get tailored support throughout your entire investment journey. From the initial consultation, where they take the time to understand your financial goals and preferences, to ongoing communication and guidance, they really aim to build long-term relationships with their clients.
It seems like they're truly invested in their clients' success, not just completing transactions. But what are the tangible benefits of investing in precious metals through BHPME? How can this approach benefit our listeners, particularly those who are in or nearing retirement?
One of the primary benefits is portfolio diversification. By adding precious metals to your portfolio, you're spreading your risk and potentially increasing your returns, especially during uncertain economic times, something that's particularly relevant as we navigate the current economic climate.
Right, because different asset classes tend to perform differently under various market conditions.
Yeah.
And I imagine this diversification is especially important for retirees who are looking for ways to protect their hard-earned savings.
Absolutely. And another key benefit is hedging against inflation. Precious metals often hold their value better than cash during periods of inflation, which can be a real concern for retirees living on a fixed income.
That's a critical point, especially with the current inflationary pressures we're seeing. It's about preserving your purchasing power over time.
Exactly. And then, of course, there's the potential for high returns.
Yeah.
While no investment is without risk, we've seen how precious metals have performed historically, particularly during times of economic turmoil.
Can you give our listeners some real-world examples of those potential returns? I know we touched on the 2008 crisis, but are there other instances where precious metals have outperformed other asset classes?
After the COVID-19 pandemic hit, we saw significant growth in precious metals like silver and gold, in some cases even outpacing the stock market's recovery.
Those are compelling examples. It's important to remember, though, that past performance doesn't guarantee future results.
You're absolutely right, and that's where BHPME's approach to balancing risk and reward comes into play.
Yeah.
They aim to help you maximize returns while also minimizing potential downsides, giving you greater peace of mind.
That makes sense. But let's be realistic. No investment is completely risk-free. What are some of the risks our listeners should be aware of when considering investing in precious metals through BHPME?
The most obvious is market fluctuations. Precious metal prices can go up and down, and it's important to be prepared for that volatility, just like with any investment.
So how can investors manage that risk effectively?
That's where BHPME's tailored investment plans and ongoing guidance can help you navigate these fluctuations. They provide regular market updates and will work with you to adjust your strategy as needed.
Are there any other risks to consider?
Storage, security, and compliance are important factors.
Okay.
When you invest in physical precious metals, you need to think about where and how you're going to store them securely and ensure you're adhering to IRS regulations.
It's not like buying stocks or bonds that exist digitally.
Exactly. And while liquidity might not be as immediate as selling stocks, BHPME helps facilitate the process to ensure you receive a fair market value when you decide to sell.
So while there are inherent risks, BHPME offers strategies and support to help manage those risks effectively.
Precisely. And remember, knowledge is power. Before making any decisions, I encourage you to do your research, understand your risk tolerance, and consult with a trusted financial advisor.
That's excellent advice. Now let's move on to the practicalities. How can someone actually get started with BHPME? What are the steps involved?
It all starts with reaching out. Visit their website or call to schedule a consultation.
And what can someone expect during that initial consultation? Is it a high-pressure sales pitch?
Not at all. It's about getting to know you and your financial goals. They'll ask about your investment history, your interest in precious metals, and any specific needs or concerns you might have. From there, they can tailor their recommendations to your unique situation.
So it's a personalized conversation, not a scripted sales pitch, which makes sense given their emphasis on building relationships with clients.
Exactly. They want to make sure you're comfortable and confident throughout the entire process.
And if you decide to move forward after that initial conversation, what's the next step?
You'll need to set up an account with BHPME, which involves providing some basic information like your identification and proof of address to meet regulatory requirements.
So there's a bit of paperwork involved, but it sounds pretty straightforward.
Yes, it's all designed to ensure compliance and protect your interests.
Once the account is set up, how do you actually make a purchase? Is it a complicated process?
It's very user-friendly. BHPME will guide you through the process, ensuring you understand the pricing and have access to their expert guidance.
It sounds like they're with you every step of the way, from that initial consultation to making your first investment. We'll get into more of those details when we return for part 2 of this deep dive into BHPME. Welcome back to the Gold IRA Blueprint podcast. We've been digging into Beverly Hills Precious Metals Exchange, and it seems like they offer a lot more than your average gold dealer, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. They're not just selling precious metals, they're providing an education, guiding you through the process, and helping you understand the nuances of this type of investment.
Speaking of nuances, let's dive a little deeper into the types of precious metals they offer. We've mentioned the big four: gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. But I'm curious, what forms do these metals actually come in when you're investing?
That's a great question. The most common form you'll encounter is bullion, which is basically gold or silver in its purest form, often in bars or coins. They're valued based on their weight and the current market price of the metal.
So if you're looking for a straightforward way to invest in gold or silver, bullion seems like a good starting point.
Exactly. It's a very direct way to track the price movements of those metals. Then you have coins, which can be both an investment and a collector's item.
I was just going to ask about coins. I know some people collect them for their historical value, but can you also invest in them?
You absolutely can. You have bullion coins, which are similar to bullion bars in that their value is primarily tied to their metal content. But then you have numismatic coins, which are rare or collectible coins that can have additional value beyond the metal itself.
So with numismatic coins, you're adding a layer of historical significance to your investment.
Precisely. Their value can be affected by things like rarity, condition, and historical importance. BHPME even has a team of numismatic experts who can guide you through that world, helping you understand the intricacies of grading and valuation.
That makes sense. It seems like a specialized area where expert knowledge is crucial.
It definitely is, but it can be a fascinating area for those interested in history and potentially high returns.
It sounds like BHPME has options for every type of investor, whether you're looking for a simple bullion investment or want to explore the world of rare coins.
I think that's one of their strengths. They offer a variety of choices, and their team can guide you toward the best fit for your goals and risk tolerance.
Now, let's switch gears and talk about IRAs. We know BHPME specializes in gold IRAs, but I imagine some of our listeners might not be familiar with that concept. Can you break it down for us?
Of course, a gold IRA, or precious metals IRA, is a type of self-directed individual retirement account. It lets you hold physical gold, silver, platinum, or palladium as part of your retirement savings, diversifying your portfolio beyond traditional assets like stocks and bonds.
So instead of having all your retirement eggs in the stock market basket, you can put some in precious metals.
Exactly. And this can be particularly attractive for those who are concerned about things like inflation or market volatility.
Right, because precious metals often hold their value well during uncertain economic times.
That's right. Plus, with a gold IRA, you still benefit from the tax advantages of a traditional IRA. Your contributions may be tax deductible, and your earnings grow tax deferred until retirement.
So you're getting the potential for growth, the tax benefits, and the diversification all in one.
Precisely. BHPME specializes in setting up and managing these gold IRAs, guiding you through the process, helping you select the right metals, and ensuring everything is compliant with IRS regulations.
That's a valuable service, especially since navigating the world of IRAs and precious metals can be complex. especially for someone new to this type of investing?
It's about simplifying the process and giving you the confidence to make informed decisions about your retirement savings.
Speaking of informed decisions, I know some people might be hesitant about investing in precious metals. They might see it as old-fashioned or risky. What would you say to those who are on the fence?
I'd say it's important to look at precious metals as one piece of a well-diversified portfolio. They're not meant to replace everything else, but rather to complement your other investments and act as a hedge against potential risks.
So it's about finding the right balance.
Exactly. It's about understanding your individual needs, your risk tolerance, and your long-term goals.
I'm sure BHPME can help with that during their personalized consultations.
Absolutely. They'll work with you to develop a strategy that aligns with your specific circumstances.
Now let's shift gears and address a common concern people have with physical assets: security. If someone invests in precious metals, especially something like gold, how do they keep it safe? I know you mentioned secure storage earlier, but can you elaborate on that?
Of course. When you invest in physical precious metals through BHPME, they work with reputable third-party depositories to provide secure storage options. These facilities are designed with top-notch security measures to protect your investments from theft, damage, or any other risks.
So you don't have to keep your gold bars hidden under your mattress.
Not at all. You can rest assured that your investments are in a safe and professionally managed environment.
And what about insurance? Is that something BHPME handles, or is that on the investor?
They generally work with depositories that offer insurance coverage for the stored metals, providing that extra layer of protection.
That's great. It seems like they've thought of everything to give their clients peace of mind.
They aim to make the process as seamless and secure as possible, allowing you to focus on your investment goals.
Let's talk about fees. We know every investment comes with costs, but how does BHPME approach fees?
Transparency is one of their core values. They're upfront about any fees involved and work to keep them competitive within the industry. You won't encounter hidden surprises or unexpected charges.
So you'll know exactly what you're paying for.
Exactly. And if you have any questions about fees, they're always happy to explain them in detail.
Now, zooming out a bit, I'm curious about your thoughts on the future of precious metals. Do you think they'll continue to be a valuable investment, especially as we move further into a digital world?
While no one can predict the future with certainty, precious metals have a long history of holding their value. They've been a store of wealth for centuries, and their inherent scarcity and tangible nature make them appealing even in a digital age. We've seen how they've performed during various crises, and they often become a safe haven when other assets are struggling.
So they're not going out of style anytime soon.
Not at all. And as we continue to face economic uncertainty and geopolitical risks, I think precious metals will continue to play an important role in diversified investment portfolios.
Makes sense. They offer a tangible asset that can provide a hedge against potential risks.
Exactly. And I think that's why they'll remain relevant for investors of all generations.
Well, this deep dive into Beverly Hills Precious Metals Exchange has been incredibly insightful. Before we move on to part 3, I want to remind our listeners about that free checklist we mentioned earlier. If you're considering a gold IRA or any other investment in precious metals, be sure to visit goldirablueprint.com/exclusive to download your copy. We'll be back in a moment to wrap up our exploration of BHPME. Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been unpacking all things Beverly Hills Precious Metals Exchange. From their personalized approach to their range of precious metals offerings, what stands out to you as we head into the final stretch of our exploration?
I think their commitment to transparency, personalized service, and client education, it really sets them apart. They seem to understand that navigating the world of precious metals can be daunting for some, so they've created a system that prioritizes guidance and knowledge.
I agree. They're not just handing you a gold coin and sending you on your way.
Right.
They're walking you through the entire process,
Mm-hmm.
ensuring you feel confident in your decisions.
Exactly.
Now, before we wrap up, I want to address a few potential concerns or questions that our listeners might have.
Okay.
One common concern is the security of physical assets.
Uh-huh.
If someone invests in precious metals, especially something like gold, how do they keep it safe? We touched on secure storage earlier,
Right.
but could you elaborate on what that looks like in practice?
Absolutely. BHPME partners with
That's reassuring. It seems like they've taken steps to address those common security concerns that people might have.
They understand that security is paramount when dealing with precious metals, and they've implemented measures to ensure your investments are well protected.
Now let's talk about fees, a topic that's always on everyone's mind when it comes to investing. How does BHPME approach fees, And are they transparent about those costs?
Transparency is one of their core values. They're upfront about any fees associated with their services and strive to keep those fees competitive within the industry. There are no hidden surprises or unexpected charges. They believe in open communication and want you to fully understand the costs involved.
That level of transparency is crucial, especially when you're dealing with something as important as your retirement savings. You want to know exactly where your money is going and what you're paying for.
Exactly. And if you ever have any questions or need clarification on fees, their team is always available to provide detailed explanations.
That's good to know. It sounds like they're committed to making the process as clear and understandable as possible for their clients. Now, looking ahead, I'm curious about your thoughts on the future of precious metals as an investment. Do you think they will continue to be valuable, especially as we navigate an increasingly digital world? Some might see precious metals as a relic of the past.
While the world is rapidly evolving, precious metals have a proven track record of holding their value over time. They've been a store of wealth for centuries, and their inherent tangibility and scarcity continue to make them appealing even in a digital age. We've seen time and again how precious metals, especially gold, tend to hold their value or even appreciate during times of economic uncertainty or geopolitical turmoil.
So it's almost like a safety net in a volatile world.
Exactly. And as we continue to face global challenges and unpredictable events, I believe precious metals will remain a relevant and important part of a diversified investment portfolio.
That makes sense. They offer a tangible asset that can provide a sense of stability and security in uncertain times.
Precisely.
Uh-huh.
And that's why I think they will continue to resonate with investors regardless of how the digital landscape evolves.
This has been a fascinating deep dive into Beverly Hills Precious Metals Exchange. As we wrap up, what are the key takeaways you want our listeners to remember?
I think the main takeaway is that BHPME is more than just a precious metals dealer. They are a partner in your financial journey. Their commitment to transparency, personalized service, and client education sets them apart in the industry. They're not just focused on making a sale, they're invested in your long-term financial well-being.
Well said. They offer a comprehensive approach to precious metals investing, guiding you through every step of the process and empowering you to make informed decisions. And for our listeners, if you're ready to see if precious metals are right for your portfolio, we've got a free checklist available for you at goldirablueprint.com/exclusive to help you choose the right gold IRA company.
And remember, knowledge is power. Before making any decisions, I encourage you to do your research, understand your risk tolerance, and consult with a trusted financial advisor.
That's excellent advice. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Beverly Hills Precious Metals Exchange. We hope this information has been valuable and empowering. Remember, knowledge is power, and when it comes to your financial future, informed decisions are key. Until next time, happy